The ANC is asking you to give it another chance. It says it knows it's made mistakes and promises to do better. The ANC-led government in Limpopo says it's made mistakes and is promising to do better, as I just told you. Those mistakes include scandals like the 15 million rand tender for the construction of the Talana hostel in Limpopo, the VBS scandal and housing scandals. Need I go on? Let's find out how the province plans to do better. I'm joined now by the Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs MEC in Limpopo, Basikopo Makamu. He's also the head of elections in the context of the ANC in Limpopo. I believe you join us from one of the rural areas in Limpopo, MEC. So if you can just start right there and tell us, why should anyone who's been observing what's been happening in Limpopo, some of the scandals that I just mentioned, even consider voting ANC?
Well, let me start by saying we do have a manifesto, Chula Caesar, that talks about us accepting where we have made errors, including where there are corrupt activities. But we are courageous as the movement as well to fight that corruption. I may not mention how many people have been arrested, but you mentioned one of the projects, which is mainly on human settlement, a portfolio which I'm deployed, where in the tender in Talani, people have been arrested. It's a project that we have appointed HDA ourselves. Not less than 6 people, and the owner and the director of the company that was appointed were arrested. That is a courage that we are also showing, that we are not prepared to protect anybody who does wrong within the ranks of the ANC or the government that we are running. So we are not shy to say in some instances our plans were not necessarily the actual delivery on the ground. The project you are referring to, Yatalani, it was mainly meant to decongest people who are in the informal settlement. And we did see the shoddy work of the quality of the project that was delivered, as we were able to clear. We're now sitting with the SIU report. We are also acting on that to correct our errors. We don't hide and shield wrongdoing. We are able to confront and say, give us a chance to correct. As you said, I'm here today in Villavilla in the Waterberg district, handing over a community project that we are going to save is not less than 1,000 sites with water and electricity and so on. We are also going to build about 215 housing units or low-cost housing to the qualifying beneficiaries. The reason I was here, elected by the people, is just to come and say to the people that they should form part of the beneficiaries, but also help government to oversee that no shoddy work, not poor quality of work. I committed the government through the contractor who has been delivered to the community today here to make sure that good work is being delivered to the community. So we are a movement that accepts, but also have a plan to correct going forward.
So, Mr. Makamu, when you say you are acting on the SIU report, which found that the 15 million rand Talani project contract was awarded unlawfully, what does acting on it entail? What are you doing exactly in as far as officials who were involved in the value chain of awarding thereof irregularly?
The disciplinary process, or maybe I should clarify that it's not necessarily within the department, it's people in the agency of government, the HDA, those that have been arrested. The SIU has given the minister, the new minister has already briefed me that they are acting and making sure that the people who are fingered in the SIU report are taken for disciplinary process. The other element is that of the 15.3 million, it's only 2.5 million which has already been paid. The remaining money is still paid, can still be utilized by the department. Now the process of the SIU is to make sure that we recover the 2.5 million that has been. So you can see that we are acting in all honesty to make sure that the public funds remain utilized for the specific work that was done. Because the contractor obviously got the project fraudulently so. So that's why we are acting on the report. We did not hide anything and put something under the carpet.
And part of what I will say you do as the ANC in Limpopo, MEC, is that sometimes you shoot yourselves in the foot, really. in that, on the one hand, as a province, you registered commendable improvements in terms of your audit outcomes at municipal level in the 2019-2020 audit processes of the Auditor General. But at the same time, we cannot run away from, the kind of wrecking ball, really, that you swung in a number of municipalities that took money, knowing very well that they shouldn't have, and invested it in VBS, a mutual bank.
You'll remember, that when I got into the portfolio, I said one task of me will be to make sure that I stabilize all the municipalities which invested money in the VBS. The two arms of my stabilization was to make sure that consequence management does take place. You will know by now that all MMs and all CFOs who transgress, action has been taken, and we continue to follow that. But at the same time, my political party, the African National Congress, made sure that all the mayors who could not play their oversight role, they have been removed from their responsibility to show that we don't want anybody to sleep on duty. But at the same time, you must also accept that we did make sure that each and every municipality which was invested money have what we call financial recovery plan, which was approved by the MEC who is speaking to you. I made sure that the implementation is not through my signature, but I continue to follow the implementation thereof. That's why the municipalities are starting to recover. But of course, we instructed each and every municipality to make a civil claim to make sure that the money gets to be recovered so that it can come back to help the communities with service delivered. So it's not necessary that when we see something wrong, we just look at it and don't act. We have acted. It's not surprising on us when we have seen us improving in terms of audit outcomes. It's a matter that you will see continue improvement. Some of the municipalities were just running short of getting clean audits. And I think with the commitment and working with the support of the Premier and the MEC for Treasurer, we are on course. You will see that these municipalities can be best run within the African National Congress. Hence, we also want to reclaim the two municipalities in Tawazimbi and Limpopo, because we believe with the candidates that we have presented now are the people who will not disappoint and make sure that they work for the community.
MEC, unfortunately, we don't have the best of connections to you. There's so much more that we could have pulled at many other threads, including those contests that you mentioned in municipalities like Mokopong and Tabazimbi there. But unfortunately, the line is really letting us down. Hopefully, in the coming days and weeks, we'll be able to take that conversation forward. That's Limpopo Cooperative Governance MEC Basikopo Makamu.